Hello everyone, it's Justin here, and this is the video from a day or two ago, and I'm going to use this video just to demonstrate some of the things that we're looking at from the coaching launch and some of the principles that we've been talking about heavily. There will be some timestamps in the video. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be, but if you're used to using YouTube timestamps, you can look at the description and you can click on them to jump around if you want to see different things. So check that out and jump to the spot that you want to see. So just a quick review, what we're looking for is two things: body preparation, preparing the body for the catch, and also blade entry. So as the blade goes in, making sure it's going in without moving towards the coxswain, meaning we're not driving through the air first before entering the water, putting the blade in without rowing it in. So those are the two things that we're looking at. And as we go through here, this is a lot of sixes on the square we did. As we go through here, we'll pause and zoom in and take some of this apart a little bit. I'm going to skip ahead just so we can see the full boats rowing. There's some video later on of the full boat rowing. This is when we're at power later on. And then this is the other boat. All right, so what we're going to do now is just take a look at some of these two things, and I'm going to pick people more or less at random here. I'm not going to do analysis of every single person's stroke here, but I'm just going to pick some things out. And so as I point out these things, try to look for them in your own stroke when and where you can. So the first thing, body preparation. What we mean by that is preparing the body for the catch, and that usually means getting the body over before we get to the catch, and not getting to the catch and then going for more body angle. That's primarily what we mean. Okay, so let's take a look, because I've got the stern 4 here, and I'm just going to go back a little bit, and we're going to look at Carolyn here as we go forward. So finishing a stroke, Carolyn's right in 7. So she's finishing a stroke here, and the hands come away, and the body comes over. And now what we can look at is we can look at this body angle here. And what we want is to see that angle kind of set itself and not change too much once we get to the catch. She's actually got even a little more angle, which is okay. And now as we get up to the catch, we can look. Now here's where the diving usually happens. And she's got a pretty good angle as we approach the catch. As I go back and forth here, we're not going for any extra angle. Okay, and as we go forward, I'll try to look at more folks that are doing it incorrectly. But Carolyn's doing a pretty good job here, where she's keeping the body stable as she approaches the catch. Here, take a look at it in real time. The body's stable as she approaches the catch. Now she is rowing it in a little bit, so the second thing that we're looking at is a little bit worse in Carolyn's stroke here, which I can look at if I go back. So if we step through, what I'm looking at here on Carolyn's blade is right here. There's her blade. And what we're going to do is when the blade goes in, what happens with the body. So we're looking at the blade now as it goes into the water. Okay, it's about to go into the water. And so let's take a look at body angle here. And then we can keep our eye on the blade and that body angle. And the blade has gone in right about here. And so Carolyn's doing a pretty good job here, but still a little bit of body opening. You can also see as she begins to drive, you can see her legs right here are starting to drive as the blade goes in. Now you can see the same thing if I clean up my mess there on Deirdre and Marta. So Deirdre is right here and Marta is here. And so if we look at, just because Marta's on this side, we can see her blade. We can look at her blade here and watch as it goes in. Right, and so we see the body opening as the blade goes in on Marta. And then if we look at Deirdre is driving with the legs as her blade goes in. Her blade's harder to see, but it is back there. You can kind of see it right in this area. As her blade goes in, we can see her driving with her legs. So this position here is where Deirdre's actually catching, which you can see the shins are not vertical. Shins are not vertical. We want the shins vertical when we catch. And so although she was in a position where the shins were vertical, here she is here. It's a great catch position here. Really, really good catch position. But when the blade actually goes in, which is right about here, this is the position she's actually catching in, which almost looks like 3/4 slide. Okay, so this is a good example of rowing it in. Sorry to pick on you, Deirdre. Let's keep going. We'll look at a couple more. Here's the other side. We have Jen here, Sabrina, Marta, and Deirdre. Now, everyone here is doing a pretty good job of this because I'm talking about it from the launch. It's the beginning of practice. We're all focused on it. We're rowing sixes square. So we'll see once we go to all 8, a lot of that goes away. I'm going to zoom into Sabrina here, and let's go up to Sabrina's catch. So here's Sabrina's catch. We can see the oar is right, this little white speck right there is the oar, and as it goes in, you can see her body open. The oar is covered here. So Sabrina, this is your actual catch. That's your actual catch position, which you and I both know is not a great catch position. This is a much better catch position, but you're rowing through it, rowing through the air. So you can see the blade will travel from here all the way to really there before it's actually covered, before it's actually in the water. And that's what we want to get rid of. Really what we want is at the catch. So here we are, great catch position. What we want to see is the hands just move up. Hands just move up. That's going to take the blade, which is here, and the blade is going to go down, right? And it's just going to go in, but the whole body angle stays the same. That's what we're going for. All right, this is... Okay, so we have another set of 6 here. So try to look at yourself. Try to see some of this in real time. It's about 15 or 20 seconds each clip here before we go through, but I did get at least 15 or 20 seconds of everyone. Most people got more than once. Yeah, so let's look at Serenity. This is another good example of rowing it in. I'm just going to go back. Here it is. So Serenity, this is a good example here, skying, right? So the blade really high above the water. You fix this a little bit later in the row when I talk to you about it, but really high above the water. And because it's so high above the water, it takes you a long time to put it in the water. So here you are about to start moving your hands up, okay? And you're about to put the blade in the water. So the blade's going to go down, the hands are going to go up. But the other thing that's going to happen is that the whole body is going to rotate this way as you put the blade in, which is incorrect. What we want is your arms, which are here, to just go up. That's it. This angle should stay the same. So take a look at it as it goes in. Okay, see how much we sat up? So you're almost sitting up vertical here. Now, Jon's been working, Jon right in front of you, Serenity. Now, this is a really good shot on you, Jon. You can see the body angle is not great at all, okay? And I know you're working on that heavily, and that's just going to come with flexibility, stretching, all that kind of stuff. But I can tell you're working on this because you can see as you're putting it in, you're opening your body a lot less than Serenity. Your blade is, halfway in the water before you start really opening the body. You are opening it a little bit, and you're actually driving your legs right in this area. you're dragging those a little bit here, like that. You're dragging those a little bit as you put the blade in the water. But it is pretty quiet in the whole body as the blade goes in. So it's a pretty good job of trying to just get that upward arm motion. We want just this motion to put the blade in, while this stays where it is. So just look at what happens here. There we go. So you can see basically here what we can ask is, did that first line I drew, this one, did that change more or did this change more? And really it's that first one changed more because you lifted your arms up more than you opened your body, which is good. Look at it in real time before I go back. Here it is in real time. So trying to keep the body stable at the catch and just put it in with the arms. Yeah, Christine, good effort here as well with the same principle. Take a look at Christine's catch right in front of Jon. Here we are at the catch. Really good catch position. We could maybe get a little bit more sitting up in the upper body, maybe a little. But as the blade goes in, the body is good. The legs are driving though, Christine. You're doing a pretty good job of not opening the body. Actually, a very good job of not opening the body. But you're getting it. You're getting the catch with the seat. The seat here, as you put the blade in, you can really see that seat moving quite a bit as you put the blade in. So you're not in, another way of looking at it is, we can look at the angle of your legs. So your angle of your legs here versus here, okay? So that's your leg angle, and as you put the blade in, blade is covered now. You can see, hopefully you can see, I know it's a little bit tough, but this has changed to that angle instead. So you're at like full body over, which is great, but you're at like half slide, 3/4 slide, rather than at the full slide as you put the blade in. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm gonna come for Jon Hansen here. I think that's Jon Hansen. Yeah. So we're going to look at your catch. Up at the catch. So similar issue to Jon Law behind you. Just the flexibility, not getting a full body angle, but it looks like you're getting as much as you can. But what I'm really after is the seat here. When you put the blade in, you can see your whole body as you put the blade in. That's where you're actually catching. And so you can see you've lost all the compression that you got up here, which is great. You lost all that by putting the blade in. And you can see just how far the blade travels. You can actually look really, really carefully right here at the oar lock. Right here. You can see just how far the blade travels before it's actually in, which is here. So you're moving the blade a ton through the air. You're rowing through the air and rowing it in. Look at it in real time. Here it is in real time. So really what should happen, Jon, is that, I mean, your approach to the catch, it looks like you're doing as best as you can. When you get here you are at the catch, just put it in. Just put it in. Just lift the hands. Hands go up, whoop, right up, and then you put it in. That's what you want to do. But instead, you kind of start rowing without the blade in the water. And one of the issues with doing that, and this is good for everyone to understand, has to do with our pressure with the feet this direction. When you push with your feet towards the coxswain, but the blade is not buried, then you are pushing the boat backwards. So this is one of the places that check or rush, those two feelings that rowers talk about all the time, that's a lot of where that comes from, is the pressure of the foot pushing this way without the blade actually in the water. If we push with the feet without the blade buried, then that effort has to go somewhere. Some of it goes to moving the body this way because we're sitting on wheels, of course. But some of it also goes to moving the boat this way. None of it goes to moving the boat this way, which is what we want. And the only way to do that is to put this in the water. Okay, so more real time. So I'm going to skip forward to looking at the whole boat rowing because we're on just about 15 minutes here and I don't want this video to be too long. So let's look at the whole boat. Okay, and what I like to do here across the whole boat, which I think can be really helpful if we pause at a catch. So take a look at yourself if you're in this boat, but if you're not, take a look at everybody's body angle. Now, first of all, when we're rowing together, what we want is to all have the same body angle. And we've been switching folks around a lot, so we're not all going to have the same body angle at the catch, and that's okay. But by same body angle, what I mean is if I draw a line on everybody's body and kind of estimate their angle, you know, you can see how these lines are not parallel, okay? And so what we want is to get to a point where body angles are closer to parallel. But not really concerned with that so much right now. More concerned about each rower as an individual. What happens to whatever body angle you do have when your blade goes in. So take a look at all of our body angles as the blade goes in. And realize what's happening here is I'm only going back and forth between the blade all the way out of the water and the blade all the way in the water. And you can see the differences, not in terms of timing, although there's all sorts of timing issues going on, but let's not focus on that. Focus on an individual, focus on yourself, or focus on someone, an individual if you're not in this boat, and look at the body open as the blade goes in. And that's what we're trying to get rid of. Probably in this particular catch, if I had to pick someone who's doing the best job here, probably Caitlin in stroke here. You know, maybe the next stroke isn't great at all for you, Caitlin, but this one looks great. So you can see as your blade goes in, you don't have a ton of movement. There is a little bit of movement in the seat. You're moving back a little bit as you put the blade in. But the body is more or less upright. You got a little bit of opening right at the end of you putting it in. Right now it's 3/4 buried, and now you're going to start to pull. But yeah, that's a good thing to look at. So again, back and forth, blade in, blade out, blade in. And what we're seeing is the body's sort of lifting, the shoulders lifting, you know, in this direction as we put the blade in. And that's not what we want. What we should only see is hands going up, hands going up. Okay, let's look at the other boat. Much harder to do this when we're all 8. I get that. That's why it's a good place to look. Much easier to do it when we're all drilling. A little bit harder to see from this angle, but there is a couple strokes from the side over here coming up. Cool. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you'd like to chat more about it, please let me know. I did also post a full version of this video without me talking. So it's just a silent video of the whole thing playing straight through. So you'll see that as well. But that's about all I have for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.